Now, in this particular instance, he did have a seller's disclosure, and instead of writing "don't know," he wrote that he pulled permits for everything.
I have a question. What happens if the owner change the windows, do the roof without permit? But the city doesn't know because he never pulled out permit.
I have that case in Hollywood.
The title company is not going to find out because there's no lien.
Got it. I have, again, this is the best we have to work with, but I'm dealing with that problem on Roosevelt Street in Hollywood. A client, a seller, actually the agent was the buyer's brother. So he felt really, I mean, it's his family. And the guy bought the house for $320,000, a little house. The investor did the floor, the roof, the windows, the kitchen, the bathrooms. The city only sees what's on the outside, of course. They drive by, and so after the property changed ownership, he got a code violation after closing. Yeah. So this leaves him in a very horrible situation because the roof, you have 4 missed inspections with the shingles or the tile. It's a shingle roof in this area in Hollywood. So he's left after a couple remedies. He can go after the seller who sold him the property, depending on the damages, and that turns over into a legal situation, which none of us are attorneys in the room. And sometimes, if the seller does not have any recourse, resources, if the seller doesn't have any money to go after, you're stuck. The good thing about it is the city will work with you. They'll give you 1, 2, 3, 4 years. If you work with someone like me, and I wear the glasses and I walk around like that, you know, I'm joking with David here, but I'm meeting with these inspectors all day and code officers. So I work with them. I used to be one of them. I emulate kind of the way that they look and talk. I feel like Eminem, walk, talk, and act like me. But anyway, it's another story. But the bottom line is, I communicate with them, this resident's in a hardship, they bought the property, they could go in the property appraiser, they'll give you time. But the second they see you not making progress, they'll send you to the court, the magistrate. So this guy, he probably has to come up with $10,000 or $15,000. And it's not worth it. And the LLC that the investor has, he bought a property. And every single property in an LLC, he's covering his liability in his tracks. Now there's one thing that we didn't mention. Can anyone guess it? A seller's disclosure.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, in this particular instance, he did have a seller's disclosure, and instead of writing "don't know," he wrote that he pulled permits for everything. So that leaves some liability. At least as a realtor and an agent, we know that we did our job. That's why they say always use seller's disclosures. And it says on the top of the seller's disclosure, let the seller fill it out. Don't fill it out yourself.
But sometimes they lie.
But at least that document is there.
I don't trust.
Now, if you were the listing agent and you didn't even come up with the idea that there should be a seller's disclosure, which most brokerages require, or the buyer's agent didn't ask for one, you're broke.
Sometimes they say the seller's disclosure, I don't live in the property.
My name is Walter Munoz. I'm with Campus Real Estate. Yeah, I just took the class about the lien search. I think it's very important to protect in case you're working with buyers, to protect the buyers, and to protect yourself.
And he could write "don't know," but again, and why I'm so passionate about this and it ticks me off is because I see this every day. So again, the seller's disclosure, don't know, lied about it, it protects the agency and the brokerage. When agents are running around and they're not looking for it, they could have had the seller's disclosure there. It doesn't solve all the problems. The lien search doesn't solve all the problems, but it's something there. to say, hey, we asked the seller about this. We checked about this.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you don't have a seller's disclosure and your brother goes to his attorney and says, hey, was there a seller's disclosure? You look kind of stupid. You look like you don't know what you're doing.